You know what time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are talking to you guys about Love is Blind. Yes, episode 8 and 9. We're going to do it all together. I've watched the last 2 episodes today because I'll be busy tomorrow. So before we go any further, please do me a favor. If you're in the chat right now, listen, make sure you leave a little comment in there. Let us know that you're here. Let us know that you're ready. Let us know that you are available for this conversation. You feel me? If you're watching this as a replay back, well, it's a shame. You should have watched it live, shouldn't you? But if you're here, let us know that you're available. Put a little smiley face. Put a little hello, hi. Let us know that you're present and ready for the conversation tonight. Yes, episodes 8 and 9 was one of many twists and turns. There were a few things that were going on, which I'm just like, whoa, it's a lot right now. But we're going to discuss it all. Okay, first and foremost, we had Iyanna and Jarrett as well. I know you guys were on my case last episode because some of you had watched ahead. I'll be honest with you, my opinion hasn't changed much between the two of them. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know I watched it, episodes 8 and 9, and I thought to myself, nothing much has really changed about my opinion towards them too. But hey, we'll discuss that as we go along, and I'm sure you guys will have your own thoughts as well. Also, if you're in the chat during this conversation, send in your questions, send in your observations. We have a new setting on StreamYard which allows me to actually save your comments, so I don't have to look at it straight away, but I can save it and then come back to it. So if you've got some comments, if you've got some questions you want to ask while we're on this live talking about Love is Blind, put it in the chat. We'll be able to save it and we can bring it up a little bit later on in our later on in the section of this show. All right, cool. So we also had Deep and Shake. Do you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I started seeing Deep Shake a little bit different. My feelings towards Shake was a little bit some way. I wasn't feeling him all the way, but you know what? I can't mess up the guy a little bit. At least he's been honest about how he feels now, right? At least he's been honest about how he feels now. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm appreciating his honesty. I think he's trying to make it work. I think he is thinking in 2 mindsets. Arranged marriage versus personal choice. And I totally understand that. That's a difficult thing. We have Danielle and Nick. Boy, I don't want them. I don't like them together. They are a toxic brew waiting to explode. We also have, Mallory and Salvador. Mallory hits Salvador. Ex coming to your yard and your crib. I don't know what kind of thing you were doing to your ex or whatever. A door asking for where you were. That's a lot. Okay? All right? That's a lot that's happening there. That your ex can come to your sister's door. Whatever the lash you were laying down, it must have been serious. Okay? And then Mallory put him straight, and we'll talk about that as well as we go along. Yeah, it's a madness. It's a madness right now. Do you know what I mean? So we had Shayne and Natalie. Shayne and Natalie. I mean, Shayne got to meet her parents. She met his mum as well. I think, do you know what? It's honestly, they look the most healthiest right now. That's all you can say. They look the most healthiest. I'm not going to say they are, but they look the most healthiest. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover up in episodes 8 and 9. There's a lot to talk about, but we'll see what happens as we go along. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notifications of uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated. Because the streets out there are hot. It is a warm. All right, cool. Let's go. Let's get into this, yeah, because I think there's a lot we need to cover, and there's a lot of conversations that I want to have as well about these issues. It's a bit much right now. So let's deal with the first and foremost, I want to deal with Deep and Shake. I think watching Deep and Shake on the show is really interesting because there's Shake is obviously emotionally connected to Deep, but doesn't know how to kind of get himself into a place where he actually fancies this girl. This is very difficult, right? Because he kept on saying about how, you know, she's like an aunt to him. You know, she's like an aunt to him, like a family member to him. Now that's mad difficult to get over. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's mad difficult to get over. I don't want to get on his neck too much because at least he's trying to work it through. It's difficult for him to fully comprehend what's going on, right? Because in his mind, he's emotionally connected with this girl, but physically, he's not attracted. Right? Physically, he's not attracted. Now, what we saw, some conversations in episode 8 and 9, we saw him having that conversation with Deep, and, you know, he was letting her know that, you know, choice is one of those things that can make or break a situation, right? Having choice means you can choose, you know, your poison in a sense, right? And the difficulty here is, as he's saying, is, you know, when you have to choose between your mindset and the mindset that you have from your culture that you've grown up in, it's very difficult. You've got the mindset of your parents, which is arranged marriages is good and arranged marriages make sense. And at the same time, you also understand I've had the autonomy to make my own choices for a very long time. And this is why I said about East meets Western culture. Because in the Western culture, we are very much all aware of our freedom to choose, which gives us a level of power, right, to us. But it also increases the difficulty in making the right choice. What are the parameters? What are the features? What are the influences that are going to go into making this choice? And so I do have some sympathy for Shake, right? Because I didn't like him in the beginning, all right? I didn't like his mindset, didn't like where he was coming from it. And I'm guessing he's still working it through in terms of coming away from the superficial. But like I said, I don't think there's been enough time for him to be able to do that. What you're reckoning with is something you've been always thinking about for a very, very long time, right? You've met her family, you've got involved, and the thing about Deep and Shake is they actually make really good friends, right? They do make really good friends. And of course, you do want to marry your best friend, but you want to marry your best friend who you fancy. I don't want to be marrying my best friend that I don't be fancying. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be with someone that I don't fancy. I'm so sorry. Okay, emotional connection is great, but I need to want to have Delash and Passoir with you. Okay, I need Delash and Passoir to connect, and I'm not feeling that. One thing I would say is also as well, I don't know. I'm gonna put this in the air and say I don't know if Shake is not trying to have sex with Deep because he doesn't want to lead her astray, or whether he just can't physically bring himself to the point of having sex with her. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's the key question right there. Is he not having sex with her because he doesn't want an issue? Or is he not having sex with her because he just can't bring himself to having sex with her because it reminds him of his auntie? That's a key question. Right? That's a really key question. Right? So we have to really ask that. He has to ask that question himself. We saw in episode 9 Shayne, telling him to basically, let's get it on. Tell her to let's get it on. And I think that's the difficulty here. Do you go ahead and try and have sex? But what if it doesn't connect, and then you've kind of brought Deep to a place where she's thinking it could be something, and you were just trying to see if it would make it work, right? So I think it's going to be very difficult. This is a tough place to be in for Shake in terms of making a decision. I think he gets along with her. He's very analytical, but at the end of the day, yeah, you're absolutely right. His preference is getting in the way, right? I'm gonna be honest though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I guess it's maybe a little bit different because his preference isn't it's not his own people, right? So maybe that's what makes it a little bit more different, right? I personally, if I was on the pods, if the girl that I mean, surely not. I mean, if I have a conversation, I'm gonna know what your ethnic background is. But if the girl came out of the pods and was white, now I love white people, okay, because I love all of God's people. But if the girl came out white, unfortunately for me, I can't do it. That's my personal preference. You know what I mean? But I think it's slightly different here because Shake's personal preference isn't for his own people. It seems to be for white, blonde, blue eyes. Okay, all right. So I get it. I get it if I get preference. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I get it. Someone asks, why can't I coach? I just can't do it. Okay, I think white people be cool, but I can't do it. Okay, I love my black women, and there's so many of them. There is no excuse for me not to get with a black woman. You know what I mean? Like, and of course, I think you might have more. If we might even have more in common with a white woman. But I'm so sorry, I can't. Okay, all right. I'm here to keep the population of black. I'm just being honest and real with you. I'm here to keep population black. Okay. I want to see little mini me's looking as black as I am. Okay. I'm just saying. I want to see as. I'm just trying to see more mini me's that look as black as I am. Okay, that's what I'm saying. All right, you know, you know what I mean. But evidently, I'm a fool if I didn't realize in the pods after a few days if you're black or not. But hey, but okay. So I think looking from a perspective with Deep and Shake now about from Deep's into. Looking into Deep's perspective, right? Deep is a beautiful woman, a good-looking, attractive woman. I think looking at her perspective, her final resolve should be to walk away. And I say that because this isn't your traditional arranged marriage, right? Of course, in an arranged marriage, the parties involved are actually the family. The family are involved with bringing together the couple together, and then even within that, really good families, as the dad and mum of Deep said, they get a chance to speak, and maybe they'll say, "I like you," or "I don't like you," right? So I would say that the families not being involved here may also cause a little bit of issue here in terms of choice, because compatibility is left down to the actual two individuals. So I think for this particular case, I think Deep should walk away, because as much as Shake has come far, and I believe he has, I believe he's done some great work coming forward. He's done some great work in growth per se. I mean, he's still got a long way to go, but some growth has really come down. I think exactly, Yoshi. I think this is not a right space for her to be in. I think if somebody hasn't caught up to themselves just yet, I don't think you need to be there. You don't need to hold someone's hand in their growth season. Do you know what I mean? Like, why put yourself in that situation? Why put yourself in that situation? And that's the difficulty here. So for her, I think she needs to walk away. I think she needs to save herself the issues. When he came out to her and said to her the paradox of choice, he wasn't lying. Like, again, Shake wasn't lying. He wasn't being deceitful. The absolute truth is there. The mere fact is he's got a complex at the moment, which he's got a paradoxical thinking. There are two opposing forces' thoughts. Okay. It is a very difficult place to be in for Deep, because she's seen some growth from him. They do get along. Their emotional connection seems to really be there. So how do you navigate this space? Well, I think in all honesty, you have to be honest with yourself, Deep, and look at it from a perspective of he's unsure, and you're getting a chance to go forward into the marriage. If he's not sure by now, he's not going to be sure. He probably won't be sure later on in the relationship. This is your opportunity to take control of the dynamics. You want him to want you. You said earlier on. This is what Deep said. You're not going to make a move because you want him to want you. Well, in a situation we're seeing right now, he doesn't want you. He's not showing you that he wants you. And how is there any indication that he's going to change that behavior in the next few years or in the next few months? Like, what's the promise here that it's going to happen? There isn't any, right? So at the end of the day, regardless of what Shake's reasoning is for wanting a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, makes no difference, because at the end of the day, Deep, you have control over who you marry, right? He's not going to change, as you said. Yes, he's not going to change. He's not going to change anytime soon. And the reason being is because he's learning about himself. And that's why I said I'm giving him some grace, because I can definitely see he is learning. He is growing. He is understanding himself more. The trouble is, it's not going to be enough. It seems like. Right? I think also as well, with this situation, someone said it as well. Coming on the show and you have a mindset that is about physical attraction, the whole point of the show is that you're going to bypass that. Shake has got a very distinct preference taste. I couldn't be on that show because, like I said, I think my preference would be very, very strong. And if I end up with somebody who's white, I'd be walking back the other way, just because that's how I like it. I like my black women. So I think this was the wrong show for him. But there's been some growth moments for him. There's been some. He's got bigger problems than just Deep. As he said himself previously, the past relationships, he's realized something was missing. But he's always in those relationships. What's been missing? True emotional connection. I think that's what's been missing. A true emotional connection has been missing, and he's found that in Deep. That's the real confliction, right? That he's found an emotional connection which he's probably never. He's found somebody who genuinely understands him, and he's never had that with the white woman that he's been dating, right? But he's been dating these white women. What's been the drive? Is it sex? Is it physical attraction? Okay, is it the need to fit in? Is it own insecurity? Is it running away from your own family because maybe something's happened in the past that you don't like the women that are of your certain ethnic origin or background? Is it something to do with that? Maybe. And thus you've never really connected with these women on an emotional level, but Deep is doing that, and that's where the confliction is coming from. Deep is doing something that they've never done before. But I think that speaks to a larger issue with Shake. Why have you never been able to be emotionally loved by these women, or emotionally taken care of by these women? And oftentimes because probably you're unemotionally unavailable, and you've been dating from a perspective of, I just want to feel the energy. I'm never against you wanting to have good sex or good delash, you want to call it, or good poissoir. I'm never against that. I'm never against people even wanting someone to be physically attracted to them. That's never what we're talking about. I'm talking about the fact that if you've never been really connecting with them, right? If you've never really been connecting, if you've never really been, getting to grips with them on an emotional level, we really got to ask a deeper question, right? It is what it is, yeah, So I it's a very, it's very interesting. Right, so someone's put, obviously, yeah, true, but her mindset could be different than typical Western stuff. She dated only white men as well. Yeah, I mean, she has. And the difference between Deep and Shake is she's able to switch it. At this particular point in time, she's able to switch it because her MO isn't about looks. Her MO is about being loved. And the MO is not the same for a man, right? The motive for a man is not the same. The contributions to a relationship are not the same. We don't want the same thing that women want, right? We want to be attracted. We want to feel a desire for our partner. We want to feel that physically before we even get to internally. We like to have that kind of feeling, whereas women don't mind as much to connect emotionally and be, finding that person generally attractive over a period of time. So yeah, there's a like I said, it's a bigger, there's a bigger picture at hand. Where we'll have to wait and see how they go on. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to say too much about them. Do you know what I mean? We'll have to wait and see. Like someone said, reunion. We'll come and see them. We'll see if they really are in line. Let's talk a little bit about Danielle and Nick. Man, I don't know. Danielle and Nick are the most, bruv. They can have an argument out of nothing. Okay, they can literally have an argument just like that. They can have an argument when they're talking about an argument. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are the two. They are volatile. They are volatile. Danielle and Nick are volatile. They are a train wreck ready to happen. I mean, if the train crashed, they would find a way to crash the train again. Like, it's like, honestly, it's crazy. And this is why I'm saying about being healed, because every single time Danielle is draining Nick, but at the same time, Nick is a very sensitive soul, right? Let me give you an example. I'll give you an example for Nick. Episode 9, I think, they're in the pool and they're talking about before their marriage and everything. And Danielle in the pool says, "Oh, at the beginning, I thought you were, I want to find the right word, too conservative, right? You was asking and being polite about, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do this? Can I do that?" And she's like, "I just wanted you to be aggressive," right? And what was interesting about that, was how he took that as an offense at the moment, right? And I was like, bro, like, she's not actually cussing you. She's just saying that she wanted you to be a bit more, do you know what? She was just saying you were being really respectful at the beginning. It wasn't her cussing you or coming at you. I thought that was a genuine commentary that she gave, and I didn't think it was anything. And I realized how quickly, he took offense to it, almost like saying, "I didn't know you then. I didn't know you. And it's like, bro, listen. One of my ex-girlfriends said the exact same thing to me. She said, the first time you met me, you gave me a church hug. And I was like, yeah, I know. You know what it is? I gave you a church hug because I didn't know you at the time. And da-da-da. But his tone immediately switched. And I realized, and she had to kind of slightly back up a little bit. And you can see that they're going to turn into an argument, right? So Nick's sensitivity is also going to conflict with Danielle's insecurity, right? So it's like a bomb goes off instantly, right? So it's interesting about that. Now, Danielle, in her case, oh man, bro, the insecurities are mad. The insecurities are mad. The amount of insecurities are too much. From what we saw with Danielle in episode 8 and episode 9, Nick also, let me go back to Nick, sorry. Nick said, obviously, his reservation is that she's sociable, but he needs time to recuperate alone. He needs time to recuperate as well, right? That's one of his arguments. The argument that's one of his concessions as to whether there's reservations towards going to marriage. She likes to be sociable and out there, and he likes to do that, but he wants to also have time to recuperate, be alone, I guess, spend time with her, be intimate, etc., etc. Right? And unfortunately, that they see things differently on that particular part. Now, here's the thing. The argument that happens later on, I'm so like, the argument that happens, is it over cake? The argument over cake? Literally, they were having cake, enjoying cake. They were literally enjoying cake, bro. Enjoying cake. And all of a sudden, the conversation goes to, well, you know what? You didn't want me going out with my friends. He's like, wait, what? That's not what I said. And it turns into a massive argument already. And I'm like, how do we... And I realize Danielle, too, is in the midst of self-sabotaging every single time. If she even hears a word... Like when you're having an argument about the fact that he said, oh, you know what? When sometimes we have these arguments, I think to myself, what? I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And then she instantly interprets it as, you're going to leave me. Oh, man. I said, this is going to be tiring. This is going to be difficult. This is a lot. You're asking a lot of me right now, because what are you doing? What are you doing? Why is it every single time we talk, this is an issue? I wasn't, and he said, I wasn't even trying to say, that I want to leave you. I was saying, like, I can't do this every single day, right? Instantly, interpreting the information as, that he's trying to leave her. And those abandonment issues, those nervousness, those anxieties that she has is draining for our partner, right? It's draining for our partner. You know what I'm saying? So, hey ho, right? So what do you think about Nick questioning Danielle going out without him? It's not manipulative, nor was it with Iyanna, limited time before decision day. I don't think you can compare Iyanna's situation and Nick's situation. I don't think you can. His argument was, you didn't even invite me. Right? I personally think he shouldn't even get vexed, because if he got, and her argument about this was, she felt like he was being annoyed. He said, I wasn't annoyed. So we've got a completely different situation here, because people are assuming what other people are feeling. She said she had a pre-planned event to go out with friends. He made a comment about the fact that, is it going to be every week that you're going to go out with your friends? Okay, right? Are you going to go out with your friends all the time? And she interpreted it as, well, he must be upset, right, about the situation. He said, no, I'm just asking, when are we going to do stuff together? Right? When are we going to do stuff together? Right? And then after that, she's like, oh, you're basically saying you don't want me to go out with my friends. He was like, blood, how did you get there? That is not what I was saying. I was saying, when are we going to do some stuff? When are we going to chill? When are we going to, he actually wanted to be invited out. That's a difference here. Jarette actually invited Iyanna out. Okay. Jarette actually invited Iyanna out. Danielle did not invite Nick out. So that's the difference there. Now, maybe Nick asked in a different way. Maybe Nick had a tone when he asked, right? He might have done, I'm not going to say that he didn't. But either way, what we saw with Danielle in that conversation, it just turned into a massive argument. She just literally blew it up. It blew it up instantly over, and they were having a nice time eating lovely confetti cake. Now the confetti cake ain't even going to taste good because out here fighting. You know what I'm saying? Right? So I was like, this is a waste of time. But it happens every single time. Yeah, KB, and you're right, KB. You're actually right, which is right. It was a pre-planned event, which is why I said that Nick shouldn't even really get vexed, because it was if he was vexed, he shouldn't be, because it's a pre-planned event. You know what I mean? Shouldn't have been up. So yeah, I personally can see Nick's also got some insecurities in the situation as well. They are both fighting from a place of fear, and that's what I said earlier on in earlier episodes. Have they both done the work to actually overcome the fact that they saw divorce from their parents? Have they actually done the work? I said this is both of them, right? Both of them haven't done the work appropriately to be able to effectively combat the fact that they both have seen divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like, have we seen that? No, we haven't seen that. So both parties are going to be fighting from a place of fear. You know what I mean? They're going to be fighting from a place of fear. So this is what's going to cause a lot more of the issues. Like, as soon as you pull, I'm going to push. As soon as you push, I'm going to pull. Right? And you know what I mean? I don't think it's a difficult request. I think it was about, and I think you've kind of said it there, Jay, it was about being invited out. If you're going out with your mates, will you invite? And in the end, she came around and said, okay, when we get there, we'll definitely be able to invite you next time. That's what she said later on, right? So I get it. I mean, I'm not even gonna say it's simply just Danielle. I think Danielle's a way larger piece than Nick, but I totally understand with Nick that, I said this before, Nick is not going to win this game. You cannot win with somebody who is like Danielle. Like, Danielle has got to a place where she's let her insecurity now become part of her identity. You're never going to win. You're never going to win. You're never going to win. And so this relationship needs to end now. Now. They should not be saying yes on decision day. They should not be saying yes at the altar. Nick should be going. Should be off. You know what I mean? You know, yeah, I definitely hear that Nick does contribute towards Danielle's mess. I would still say that Danielle is a much more larger contributing factor. I think it's impossible not to contribute towards her mess. I think if you're in a relationship with somebody like this, it's almost guaranteed you're going to contribute towards some of the mess. Do you know what I mean? It's almost impossible not to, because even if you get annoyed, you're going to look like you contribute towards a mess. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think when I watched it as well, episode 9 as well, you know, when they spoke about this, you know, there seems to be a problem with the translation of what people are saying, right, between Danielle and Nick. Whenever, you know, he says something, it gets interpreted as something else, right? So it gets interpreted as something else. When he says, oh, you know, I'm not even trying to leave, I'm just saying that I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, it gets interpreted as, I want to leave. I want to leave you alone. I don't want to be with you. And it's like, no. And after a while, it becomes very tiring, draining, and difficult. So it almost immediately, he will contribute towards it. You know what I mean? He inevitably will end up trying to contribute towards, because he's trying to, as Jarette just said there, he's trying to figure it out. And as he tries to figure it out even more, the more difficult it becomes. Right? Yeah, it's a lot. Yes, I did see Nick's mum's, Jay. Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. So for me, I don't think they need to be anywhere near each other. So when he obviously tells her before the wedding, I don't think we should go through this, I don't know why you turned up at the altar, sir. When you told her, I don't think we should go through this, why turn up at the altar? I don't get it. Why turn up at the altar? Right? Don't turn up at the altar. If you done text her the night before saying, I don't think we should do this, it's not a good idea, why turn up at the altar, sir? It's going to make it even worse. You're gonna reject her at the altar? You must reject her before then. Right? You must reject her before then. So for me, I'm looking at Nick and Danielle. I know Danielle is far, it seems far more problematic, but Nick shouldn't be at the altar from what we saw. Right? So yeah. Maybe they do. That's true. Yeah. Maybe that's true as well. Maybe they had to turn up because of the TV show. Yeah, maybe you're right. Ooh, Chile. If that's the case, boy, people are going to have their hearts broken, blood. This act's going to be a proper thing, fam. Because he's petty. I don't know. Is he petty? I don't know. I don't know if he's petty. I haven't really observed him being petty. That's the thing. Okay, once or two times he has said some things like, we're not 15 or whatever. But I haven't really seen him be petty. So I don't really know. Right? Can't say that for sure. Haven't really seen him be petty. But let's move it on. Let's move it on from them. Because it's less said the better. Let's talk about Shayne and Natalie. Woo, Shayne and Natalie. My God. Okay, so Shayne met the family. Shayne met the family of Natalie. I wanna pinpoint this. Every time I've watched them, I think the last few episodes, Natalie will say, "I love you" to Shayne, and Shayne doesn't say it back. Right? Shayne doesn't say it back. So I heard Natalie tell him, "I love you," and Shayne didn't say it back. Now, it could be that he's not there yet at the moment, so that's why. But I was just very interested in the fact that she mentioned it and he almost ignores it pretty much, and just goes on with the situation. "Oh, I love you," and then he'll just hug her. Won't say anything about it. You know, I'm surprised. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, but it's been 2 weeks of intense conversations. So it's slightly different to our 2 weeks. They've had time to be with each other, so I get it. And this is the thing, and this is it, Tanisha. This is the point. When they ask Shayne, what is it about Natalie that you like? What is it about Natalie that you like? He said she gave reassurance to him. Never mentioned any qualities about her. So we now got Shayne not saying I love you. And now when we ask Shayne, what do you love about Natalie? It is always the fact that she is the one that likes him or gives him reassurance or she makes him feel good, but not anything of quality-wise. What's the qualities that he said he likes about Natalie? Can't remember. Cannot remember. Right? And that is an aspect of the fact that he just wants to be loved, but doesn't realize he's not giving that same love back to her. Yes, you're present. Yes, you are laughing and joking with her, but it's an unequal weighted, side of. It's an unequal weighted feeling in a relationship, right? You know that Natalie wants you, and do you know what's even more interesting? Remember how he dealt with originally the Shayna and the Natalie situation in the pods. You know, I see that emotional side. There is an overly emotional side to Shayne that wants love. Okay, this is deeper than just not saying what her qualities are. This is about Shayne and maybe what he's experienced as a kid, whether he hasn't experienced that love. And so that's why the fight with Shayna was all about the fact that, look, I want you to tell me that you want me. I want you to, don't you want me, baby? And so his whole thing was, do you show me that you want me? Which is why he told Shayna, fight for it. Show me that you actually want me. Yeah? Show me that you actually want me. But yet we don't hear anything from Shayne showing that he truly, really desires Natalie. It's all about she gives me reassurance. I love you, but we don't hear it back. You know? And unfortunately, Natalie's in a position now where she's having to, where her push comes to shove, she's going to have to be there. She's going to have to be there with Shayne. I haven't seen any anything that's come from Shayne that's telling me he really fancies her or really wants her. You know? The one thing he did say though, oh no, that wasn't him. That was Shake, I think. He said about best friend and trust her. What he said, obviously, and also the basketball game. You remember the basketball game, guys, right? The basketball game situation after the baseball game, after he missed all the shots on the baseball game, which I knew he was going to miss every ball, so he was way too confident. And when he sat in the stands, when they were asking him questions, it was all about, he was a bit pissed off, again, emotional about the situation. But what was really intriguing was, I saw him, it's like, yes, that's it. That's it right there. That was it right there. Something is not quite, there's a childlikeness to Shayne. Right? There's a childlikeness to Shayne. The throwing of the toys out the pram, the emotional outburst, the way that he reacted, even in pod when Natalie was saying, almost like looking like it was going to lose her, how he tried to flip it onto her. Right? It's true as well. So for me, I think there's an emotional maturity that needs to happen with him. I think there's an emotional maturity. Just by looking at some of the different examples, the pod, the baseball game, even Mexico Beach, the constant reassurance he needs, the constant whenever she and this is you know what? You know when someone's not secure, the moment Natalie makes a joke about the relationship or him, you never tell me that you actually want me. You never tell me that you need me. You never tell me actually that you like me. So that's a big thing for me. I'm looking at going, okay, does he really want? Is Natalie a gap fill for now because he's in an emotional state right now? You know, is he in an emotional state right now? Maybe that's it. Maybe he's in an emotional state right now because of the loss of his father, right? So something's not quite right what we're seeing with Shayne, and it seems to be all about how he feels, right? And not necessarily about returning that favor to her. It's kind of peak. So yeah, that's something to really consider. You know, his emotional outbursts, right? I think that's a big deal. I think it's a big deal. All right, cool. Any more comments around that? I think that's what Natalie likes about him. Natalie's overly serious and wants someone to loosen her up. I would have chosen Jarrett instead if I were Natalie. Shayne is childish. Okay. Even how he attacked Sal because he was doing well. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, I definitely hear that as well. Shayne wants another mother. I think him losing dad makes him need a lot of attention. I see that. Shayne literally demands for compliments. He's so needy. Something isn't right. I agree. The constant need for assurances is really speaking to insecurity. Yeah. The inability to handle that you might not be the bestest in the world, that you might not be the best to someone. Because the same thing he was doing, like he's asking for compliments, is the same way he can't take jokes when Natalie makes them. As soon as she does that, he starts feeling insecure about his position and about his, the person's affection towards him. Why? Because in his mind, I really believe that he's always thinking he might not be good enough. That's what might be hidden underneath all that vibrato and energy and the excitement of Shayne's big, large personality. Underneath that, it could be the fact that there's a lot of insecurity, that you don't feel that good about yourself. You don't feel that good about who you are, because you shouldn't need that much compliments. Your love language may be words of affirmation, but you don't need that compliments. Do you know what I mean? Do you need all those compliments? If you're looking for that, then there's something within you. All right, cool. Let's move it on. Oh, cool. All right, Salvador and Mallory. Woo. Let's discuss them. Salvador and Mallory. What's the biggest issue with these two? Okay, I mean, towards the end, it got way better. It seemed like it got way better. It seemed like, Mallory told him that she loves him, and he told her he loves her, and, she appreciated his emotional openness, to her as well. Yes, I think that's a key term there. Mallory is trying to learn to love Sal, right? Now, here's my thing. I think episode 9 it was, right? Don't get it twisted. We'll do it from Salvador. Salvador's ex comes to the house or whatever, comes to his sister's house. So it's not his house, it's his sister's house. It's not his house, it's his sister's house. It's not his, it is the sister's house, right? Goes there, says whatever said, gets done what's get done, right? And before you know it, obviously Mallory knows, Sal knows, whatever. Now Mallory's all vexed about the situation, right? I get it. You may be thinking, again, the safe guy now is now becoming the unsafe guy. It may be looking like. Here it was. So now Salvador goes to apologize. I mean, Salvador goes, I want to talk or whatever, right? So they end up having a conversation, right? Now, here it is. When they get into the conversation, right? When they get into the conversation, Mallory ends the conversation with basically letting him know, if something happens again, I'm out the door. I'm done. I was like, Mallory, done. Just like that. Okay. So she's just going to be done like that. And I said, yeah, you would be done because you totally understand and know how you behaved with someone that's next. Right? You know what you were doing with old boy Jarette. So, of course, when it comes to you, you won't have it. Of course, because you know exactly what it is. You know exactly what it is. Now, let's be very honest. What we didn't hear was, did Salvador have a conversation with her? Did Salvador have to, go and console his ex? We didn't hear any of those things. Did Salvador, have to talk to her? We didn't hear any of those things. All we heard was the ex turned up at the sister's house. The sister's house. Right? Not Sal's house, not where you guys are, at the sister's house. And then the argument became about, so do you just bring any girl to your sister's? Babe, what you talking about? Listen. The maintenance of the delash and poussoir. You know what I mean? The maintenance of the delash and the poussoir. Listen, Sal's got a little bit of a dangerous undercurrent about him. Okay, maybe he's got a little. Maybe he knows how to throw it down. Okay, don't let that ukulele fool you. Okay, don't let your ukulele fool you. Right? Because he said to her, "Listen, we never dated." He said to her, "We never dated." And she knew what it was. We could date other people. Plus, I was literally, focused on this experiment. And so they said, don't hold. I don't want to hold on to. They said, put your life on hold. And so I was out here just doing my thing, routine maintenance. And unfortunately, this girl then ended up, this girl ended up coming back to my sister's crib. Now, boy, ain't no damn girl coming to your house unless she's crazy. And since you never said she's crazy, meaning something isn't quite right. Right? Something isn't quite right. The full story didn't fully come out. Right? The full story didn't come out. Something didn't all the way come out. Like, what I mean by that, probably was having sex. Probably was having a lot of sex with this woman. And, unfortunately, when we talk about, having friends with benefits situation, or even dating with benefits, or whatever you want to call it at the time, the maintenance happening, what can happen is someone's going to end up falling. And maybe the ex thought to herself, listen, nah, I'm feeding you too much. I need to come to your sister's house and find where you're at. Right? So now, if we find out Sal was dating Mallory, it's going to be mad. Right? You know what I mean? So evidently, there's something a little bit deeper underneath the surface. There's something deeper, right? And it might be just that they were just having sex, and that's really what. Because listen, let's keep it a buck. Certain gal as well, certain gal that can be unstable in their emotions. Even if you tell them we're just having sex and it means nothing and we're just gonna be literally just having fun, this can go wrong, right? But at the same time, and remember, because in his, and again, this is where it becomes difficult. In his mind, he's going to the show. So he's never committing to this girl. But that girl may be thinking, wow, this is such a great guy. I'm sure Sal probably sang on one or two songs. I'm sure Sal was very emotionally present. I'm sure Sal was a good ear to hear. This girl was thinking, wow, what an amazing guy. And the lash is serious. Right? The lash is serious. That's very true, Empress. You ain't gonna lie to you. That's very true. Okay. So she, in her own head, may have concocted her own thoughts towards the situation, because remember, he wasn't thinking about getting into a relationship because he was thinking about the show. So he's never committing. You know? Never committing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, look, I'm not going to say there is definitely something more in terms of he led her astray or anything. I'm just saying that there obviously was more. They were having sex. There was maintenance. People can miscrew things differently. Right? It is what it is. Oh, man. It could be. He could have just caught a nutter. It's true. He could have. He could have done that. Someone said burn the ukulele freestyles. Listen, I like his freestyles. His singing is lit. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's a good singer. He's a good singer. I'm not sure why he's always on ukulele, but hey, I like the ukulele. I'm not gonna shoot it down. I'm not gonna be angry at it. The ukulele is doing bits, man. Let him live, man. Let him do what he do, baby. Let him do what he do. Okay. Truth of the matter is, Mallory is shooketh. And she's shooketh because this should be the safe guy. If he's not safe, she's done out here. Right? So Salvador needs to be the good guy for her because she's chosen this guy who's meant to be good. If it doesn't happen, finished. You get me? Then it's like, do I really know how to choose? Like my radar must be really off. Trust me, the song about Beyonce was fire. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was fire. My girl's like Beyonce. I said, yeah, go on, sir. Go on. Go on. Toot, 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 toot. Go on. Sing your song, sir. Do your thing, sir. You never know what can happen. Even if Mallory doesn't love you, the audience might love you enough and you'll get a record deal. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. All right, cool. Let's get on to Iyanna and Jarette. Iyanna and Jarette. Let's get into them. Woo, Chile. Okay. Let's get that conversation flowing. So, Iyanna and Jarette. What can we say about these two? Okay. So we had a conversation yesterday. We spoke about going out late, and coming back late. He made a joke, which probably was representation of something being true. He went out 3 times that week. She said come back, but I'm not saying come back by 1, but he was saying, listen, 3 is too late for him, as well. So, hey, let's start there. Of course, listen, if you're out every day or out several times in a week without your partner, and depending on the type of outing it is, it can be problematic, right? Let's keep it a buck, right? It depending on the outing, depending on the activity, and depending on if you really was out 3 times in that week, it can definitely be a problem, right? It definitely can be a problem because, again, remember, it's about you're trying to build a connection with your partner, okay? Here's the thing. The compromise isn't for him to stay home. The compromise is for them to do things, maybe potentially going out and do things together. Right? So that for me is the big thing here. Okay? The compromise seems to be, boom, we go out together. That should be the compromise. Right? Or we go and do something, or we go and see something, or whatever, right? That's the compromise that them two do together, right? Someone said he has no interest in Mallory anymore. I don't know about that, but he's not going to try anything again. So the going out again, it should be contextualized in the sense of, if you are wanting to go out, let's do things together, right? So that you're not starving yourself of outdoor activity, but at the same time you're not also excluding your partner. Someone also made a very good point, right? That's true as well. I hear that. I haven't seen Iyanna'S friends. Where do we see Iyanna'S friends in this? What did she at her wedding? Did she have friends? At her I'm trying to remember at her dress recital, who was there for her at the dress recital? You know when they went to go choose their dresses, who was the friend for Iyanna? I didn't see a friend for Iyanna. I'm trying to remember. If you remember, can you let me know? I'm gonna go back through the episodes and find out if I can see it. Who was her friends? Okay, so that's a big problem. That's a really big problem. Okay, all right. So we're gonna have to see some friends of hers, bro. Right? Um, we haven't really seen. Someone said, okay, at the boat thing, one of her friends was on there. She even posted their photo on IG. Okay, cool. So one of her friends was at the boat party then. Okay, that's good to know. All right. Who was her friends throughout the? Because obviously, like I said, we don't really get to see much interaction with her and anybody outside of her parents, Jarette, and the girls on the show. But where are her friends? All right. You need friends. Let me tell you something, guys, girls. If you haven't got friends, you are going to ruin your relationship because you're going to make the person in the relationship your be all and end all, and there is no circumference outside of that. It's like you need, you know, you're gonna need some friends to be able to have time for yourself, to be able to chill with other people, reconnect with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And not to suffocate your partner. We need that. We need that. Having friends outside of just your husband or your wife, you need it. You know, it's a big thing. Okay, so yes, she's an introvert, but she's not just an introvert. Like I said, it seems like whatever trauma she's kind of gone through, we're not seeing. We're not seeing you connect with anyone else outside of your relationship. And that's a big thing. That's a very big thing. But we did hear the friend. Remember, she was on the phone. I'm guessing it's that friend. She was on the phone and she spoke to her friend about Jarette going out. So there was definitely a friend there. But again, do they get to meet up? Do they get to chill often? Because you need that outlet as well. There's a need for that as well. So again, this is where both parties need to come together. Jarette, if you want to go out, maybe that's no problem. Go out with your boys. You should always have a time to go out with your boys. But also there could have been a time where like they did a date. Go out with her, take her to a nice place, expose her to different experiences, and that will end up, helping you be able to maybe even grow her confidence a little bit more as well. I think that will also be a big part, with them. And yes, and that's why I'm saying it's not her introvertedness. Like, we said about this, I think we said this yesterday, it's not her introvertedness that's a problem. We meet introverted people and extroverted people all the time, but it's even just getting involved in certain things. We don't get to see that aspect as well. Okay. I think the bigger issue that we have with Iyanna towards Jarette is that there's a lack of trust. The trust is the issue, right? The trust is the issue. She knows she's second choice. And that's her problem. Because there's nothing he can say that's going to make you feel more comfortable. You've got to now make a choice. You know what I mean? Do you want to be in a situation where you're having to be second choice? Or nah? Right? What you don't want is to suffocate him with the constant conversation around, am I second choice or not? Right? Really big issue. Jarrett also too. We don't get the good energy in terms of the way he needs to, assure her that she's not second choice. And I think he can't assure her. I don't see Jarrett as a type to assure her. I see Jarrett as a type that, listen, he expects you to be confident. Right? She needs a Sal. Jarrett is not the type to now start trying to drop bars and be like, come on, get confident. I don't see Jarrett doing that. I don't see Jarrett performing like that. I don't see Jarrett actually going out of his way to give her consistent reaffirmations. I just don't see him doing that. I don't think that's in his nature to do so. I'm not saying he couldn't. I'm saying I just don't see him doing that. And I don't see his energy ever doing that. Even when they were talking on the kitchen, episode 9, we ain't see it. We ain't see it. We ain't see it. So for me, I think it's, I think he needs to be able to give her a bit more reassurance than what I've seen. Right? A bit more reassurance. It will go a long way. That's not going to solve her trust issue. I'm not saying that's going to say that. It won't solve her trust issues because she has to do that herself. Yes, and that's the energy, Keisha. That's the energy I'm getting. That is a perfect definition of what I'm getting from Jarrett. And this is why I said that with Mallory, he was trying to impress her. With Iyanna, he isn't. So now what's happened is he's not gonna. That's why he didn't think about trying to impress her or taking her out per se, because as far as he was concerned, they were already good. Right? They're already good. So again, and I'm not even trashing Jarrett. This is not me. I'm not trashing Jarrett. Trust me, I'm not. I'm not trashing him at all. I just think he needs to stay true to his actual choice. What I see with Jarrett is that he would stay in a situation because he's been bred for marriage, like he said. He'll stay in it. But I think eventually the truth of how he feels will come out. That's my thoughts. That he's born and bred for marriage, everything like that. But the truth of how he feels will come out. And then also the self-sabotage from Iyanna will kill this marriage before it gets anywhere. It'll kill the marriage before it gets there. I think, he's looking for someone that's going to be independent on their own as well, right? If you heard him speak to his boys, the boys were saying, so what's your reservations? And he said, the reservations that I have are really about the fact that she's not financially where I need her to be, right? Because she's going to want to go to school. She will have to go to school and I have to financially kind of support her through the whole thing. And that's not what he spoke about with Mallory. If you deep it, if we go back to that episode where he spoke to Mallory, they were both talking about investments, finances, businesses, da. But with Iyanna, no, he's going to have to, like he said, he's going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah, and that's another thing as well. That's also another point. He wants a baby and she's working on a master's degree. It's a lot. It's a lot again. Another difference for them two. This is a good point, Tanisha. He loves the idea of marriage more than who he's marrying because, like he said, he won't just marry anyone, but he's been ready for this. Right? Sally Ann said, I think he saw Mal as his dream girl, the one that is ready to marry and settle down with. I agree. Okay. Iyanna can tell that Jarrett's not into her. It's not the editing. I agree as well on that particular part. I definitely hear that. Definitely. Someone said, what's the difference between her going to school and not working and having a baby and not working? He's giving excuses. I think the difference clearly is that she'll be pursuing something, but he won't be necessarily getting anything out of it in the immediate towards what he's gonna be thinking about, right? He's gonna be thinking she's going to school. I'm gonna be supporting that, but that's not also his need. That's not also his want. I should say, not need. That's not his want. So it will be not in his benefit in the immediate run that he's thinking about. Okay, she goes to school, that doesn't immediately benefit me. Now, in the long run, it may be because she'll be able to make her money and live her life and everything. That's fine. But I'm looking from a perspective of him, which is like, hey, look, you know what? I wanted to have kids soon as. Then we're gonna delay that because you want to go to school, and then at the same time, I'm also going to support you financially. When originally the girl that he was talking to didn't have that issue. Didn't have that issue. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit mad. Yes, Mallory and Jarrett have solid finances. Sal's chores and biz, and Mallory in school. It's also cool. I hate that. So Iyanna was right to say that he wanted Mal because she was more stable in her career. I think it's just more than that. I think it's more about the fact that she's not. It's partly that it's not just that she wants to. It's not just because Mal's more stable in her career, but also because at the same time, it's not like he wanted to have kids, right? So now, okay, cool. I could sacrifice because it benefits me if we weren't going to have children. I'm ready for that sacrifice because that's going to benefit me because that's what I want. But you going to school doesn't benefit me in the immediate run because it wasn't part of my plan. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you're right. Part of it is true that part of the Mal being stable, but that's not the reason why he wanted to choose Mal. That's not what it necessarily is, because that was a question that she actually originally asked. You know what I'm saying? But it's all part of it, though. It's all part of it as well. What he said. Let's see. She needs a benefactor, a father, friend, and therapist. Yeah. Let's see. Someone said, how you gonna want a baby but trying to rip and run the streets like you're single? Lol. Let's hope he would have changed that then. You know what I mean? Let's hope he would have changed that. Let's have a look. Yes. He also seemed mad about her being not so independent when they talk about masters. This is also true as well. You know. By the way, a lovely DP, Ella. It's very true as well. I think he wanted that. I don't think he likes that dependent woman energy. I don't think he likes it. I don't think he likes that dependent woman energy that he's getting from Iyanna. I think he preferred the Mallory. And remember, Mallory wanted to go watch football games. She wanted to go out. She wanted to do things. She wanted to be adventurous. He's got the complete opposite of Iyanna, right? Complete opposite of Iyanna. You know what I mean? So yeah. Exactly. That's very true. She also keeps up bringing Mallory, not him. That's very, very true. Also, this as well is the years of school will be followed by years of baby or postponing baby, and she's 27. That's a really key part as well. I forgot about her age. She's not young. 27. By the time you finish off your masters, depending, she's probably got 1 year or 2 years, but she may want to do something else after or go into work. He's probably thinking by the time you get ready to this, it might be 30. How many can we get in there? He might be thinking that. I'm not saying that's definitely. So I'm not gonna say per se, but it could be on his mind as well. Mallory does not want Jarrett. She said herself that he's just what she's used to date, and those obviously didn't work out, so she does not want Jarrett anymore. Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh wow, that's a lot. It's a lot. The fact is, he didn't like Iyanna like that. If he did, all those other issues would be worked out. Yeah, I agree that. Yeah, I agree. He can build something out with Mal now. With Iyanna, it will take a few years. I think so. I I think so. I think that's a really important point. I think he would have loved to have Mal on side because they had the same kind of mindset to those things, and it would have been, okay, cool, let's go forward, let's move forward, let's go on, right? And let's build as he said he wanted to do with her. Whereas Iyanna, he's not getting that. He have to cover her. Right? He's what's this comment? He wanted Mal because she was Latina. Said she was a guy's girl, which meant she was less likely to give him static for partying. I don't know about the Latina part, but okay, I hate it on the rest of it. Yep, and this is what I was going to come on to. It's a good spot, child of God. When Iyanna's parents asked him what he liked about Iyanna, again we got the same words: resilient. He said driven, and another word I can't remember. But there was nothing really that was said that was about her qualities. Like even the mum picked it up by saying, "You've mentioned these stuff, but what about her qualities? Like she's funny, like she's interesting. Like what about those particular parts? Right? How about that?" So it was interesting that he also too at the same time couldn't mention any real qualities, any intrinsic qualities, characteristics, personality traits of her. He said about, I love her little bit of quirkiness. You know what I mean? I love her little quirkiness that she has. That's about it. That's about it. Resilient. I'm tired of hearing resilient, sir. I know she's been through a lot and she's resilient. But why is that interesting to you? As a relationship, why is that so interesting to you? So I wasn't convinced by his response in terms of towards Iyanna. Nothing there, just like Shayne, nothing there was about how much they liked her qualities. Nothing there. Nothing at all. So for me, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, you had an opportunity to talk with Iyanna, and all that's happened is that you've bonded with her on an emotional sense because you've given her a part of yourself. That's all. That's all. All you've done is give a part of yourself to her where you've given her your deep trauma, but I don't know how much you've connected with her. Do you see what I'm saying? Because nothing else really could he say about Iyanna. And like I said, him and Shayne do the exact same thing, which is why they're such bros. So I'm not saying that I'm not saying Jarrett's bad. I just said he needs to be real. I'm saying he needs to be real. He don't like her that much. But he's thinking about marriage, and he's thinking about, maybe I can be with this woman. You know what I mean? I'm ready for marriage. This woman will be a decent woman to marry. But the trouble is, it's not just about who's decent enough to marry, or even who's even good enough to marry. Do you want to marry them? Do you actually want them? Do you actually want them? Do you actually want that person? That's a key question. And I don't see that from him. And this is also interesting as well, that I said this as well. I said, how are they adopting you at 18? I was like, I didn't even know people could be adopted at that age. I didn't know they could be adopted at that age. Someone said, but Koji, a lot of men do this. You're right. And that's why a lot of our marriages fail. Because them are not being real with themselves. They want to be married. Right? But you ain't marrying the person that you actually need to marry. You're not invested in actually understanding who the person is you're marrying. That's the most important part. right? Since we're not doing arranged marriages and you're actually choosing your partner, you got to find out the qualities of that individual person. You know? So, yeah, man. Oh, okay. Wow, you're right. Okay, you're right. Hild, I hear you. Okay, I hear you. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Okay. Someone says, I feel like Jarrett would continue in the marriage as long as it served him and then start acting up once it stopped. I agree. I agree. I agree. Yes, we'll do a live on Friday night. We'll also do a live on Friday night. We will do one for it. Someone's asked a question here as well. Also, are you reviewing Love is Blind Brazil? I'm gonna ask a question. Who's actually interested in watching Love is Blind? Someone told me to review Love is Blind Japan too. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Should we do Love is Blind Brazil? Should we do it? Is there enough of people who watch it? That's the question. I'm going to review it and nobody's even watching it. Someone said I can't even get into Brazil. You know what I mean? If there's people that are on it, someone said Japan's on fire. Okay, so is it a Love is Blind Japan? Someone said the Japan version is good. Japan version is good. Okay. Okay. Couldn't get into Brazil. Okay. Oh boy. Listen. Because someone said the Japan would be different because Love is Blind Japan would surprise you, coach, because customers are different. Costumes are different. Okay. All right. Someone said interview Love is Blind cast, please. Okay, look. I will message individual people. Here's where we have to work together, people. Okay? Here is what we have to do to work together. There is more of you than there is of me. I'm one person. Whenever you want me to interview someone, if you guys message them or you guys comment on their posts and you tag me in it saying they should interview me, it does a whole world of good because that they're going to start seeing visibility wise. Because if I message them, sometimes they don't see it. So if you want me to interview these people, y'all need to be messaging them, DM them, comment on their page, whatever. Let them know who I am and what I'm about. Do you know what I'm saying? That way, we're all helping get the work done. That way, people then will know who we are and we'll get them on here. Because sometimes people don't know who we are. You know what I'm saying? So if you want me to interview these people, I'm gonna message them. I'll message all of them. But I also want you guys to help me out. Go on their page, comment, tag me in it. You know what I'm saying? And then if enough of you do it, they're going to see us there. And they're going to wonder, who is this people they're talking about? And then we can get them on the show. Okay? All right. Someone said, can you interview Brina Lee? It's in the works already. You're reading minds. It's in the works. So, okay. Guys, we've come to the end. We're not on for 2 hours today. We're on a short one today. We've come to the end. So listen, we probably need another show. You know, probably need another show. Someone said, when's the next After Dark? Next After Dark. I don't know. Will soon come. The Mandem are on every Sunday, so it depends what they're feeling. 1st of March, guys. 1st of March. 1st of March, we have got another conversation with a sexologist. Yes, I've got a conversation with a sexologist. So there are going to be conversations around sex. Okay, so you know, we're gonna get some conversations going. Okay, so similar to how we had about the After Dark with the men, I've got a sexologist as a woman. Okay, so we're gonna have a real conversation about sex and all things around it as well. Okay, so if you're interested in knowing a bit more about that, sexual intimacy, sex as well, we're gonna be on that. Okay, right? So we getting deep in 2022. You know what I'm saying? We're getting deep in 2022. So, guys, make sure you like it, you share, you subscribe. We appreciate you. Okay, we need another show. Okay, we need another show that we can do together, guys. So be on the lookout for the notifications on when we have the 1st of March Sexologist. I'll put it up. And also as well, look out for any shows. If you guys see some shows that you think would be good for us to watch together and review, send me a little email or send me a little message. Someone said Love and Marriage Huntsville. I heard a new season's coming out in March. I heard a new season's coming out. So we might look into that as well. Yes, Love is Blind Japan. We might look into it as well. We'll see what happens. All right, cool. Guys, we appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded. Married at First Sight, Australia. Boy, that's an hour and a half I cannot do, boy. That every day is tiring. I'm not gonna lie to you, boy. Family of Fiance is also good as well. I like the show. I like Family of Fiance is a really good show. I like that. But yeah, guys, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We'll be back very, very soon. Yes, we do scripted shows as well. Send us an email, and we'll tally up what different shows you guys want. In fact, I'll put up a community post, and we'll see what people are calling for. So like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. We'll see you soon.